A good day to all, folks. Up recently, the international relations scholar Dr. John Mearsheimer, who's undisputedly recognized as the superstar of international relations in academia, has went on to make the argument in a recent Al Jazeera interview that it is the Israeli advent to escalate the confrontation that was pre-existing between Israel and Hamas. Mearsheimer tries to make the argument that the escalation of the war has been facilitated by Israeli interests alone, and that this interest is categorized so that Israel could conduct the activities of ethnic cleansing in West Bank and Gaza, so that it could project its ideal of greater Israel in the near future. So, how valid is this argument? How valid is the argument of Israel wanting to extend the confrontation that is pre existing between the two bodies into the larger realm of the West Asian region so that it could conduct ethnic cleansing in those two territories, that is West Bank and Gaza? Hi, my name is Amit, and I'd like to take the time to analyze this particular subject. If we take the example of the Yom Kippur War of 1967 or the Nakba that took place in 1948, Israel had escalated the entirety of the confrontation to multiple agents and multiple belligerent forces so that they could conduct the ethnic cleansing in a more fashionable, or rather in a more efficient manner, is what Mearsheimer argues. But how correct is this argument? I would like to analyze this argument further. Number one, the involvement of Shia militias. The Shia militias such as Hezbollah, that is associated with Tehran, that is Ayatollah Khomeini, the supreme leader Ayatollah Khomeini, poses a threat to the territorial integrity as well as the sovereignty of Israel. Lebanon had attacked, in fact, Hezbollah had attacked Israel on the 8th of October, that is one day after the Hamas had attacked. What was the utility of this particular attack, if I may ask? Or any other organizations apart from the Hamas, say for example the Islamic Jihad or the Houthis, for instance, that have been attacking Maersk shipping lines that pass through the Gulf of Aden. What is the utility of this particular attack? So is Israel the only agent pushing forth for escalation? I would say no. Israel is not the only agent pushing forth for escalation. And what is the price that Israel would have to pay if there is an escalation? One, the conflict that is pre existing between Israel and Hamas is of high stakes. So, commonsensically speaking, the greatest piece of diplomatic advice is that of necessity. What is your necessity at this point? Should you perform beyond your necessity? Should you bite more than what you can chew? And that is a question in front of the Israeli Defense Forces as well as the Israeli state as well. So, validating this escalation as a facet or a manifestation of Zionist settler colonial tendencies is not the way to move, is the argument that I like to place therefore. Further, we have Shia Sunni divides that exist between nations. Saudi Arabia had its oil fields being bombed by Iran, and we have destabilization that exists in Iraq, Syria, as well as in Lebanon to a certain degree. So, any attack that has been committed by Israel upon Gaza or West Bank becomes a prerequisite a prerequisite for any attack that Tehran could pose upon this region, therefore raising the regional instability. Whereas the Sunni nation states that have been allies with uh, Israel post the Abraham Accords place a new regional alliance in this region would also pose a threat to Tehran. So Tehran is a larger threat to the Sunni nations apart from Tel Aviv, more than Tel Aviv perhaps. Therefore, escalation does not become a project for the Israeli advent in the region, and that Tehran is actively pushing forward for escalation so that Israel's sovereignty can be compromised. Of course, the violence that has been committed to the innocent people of Rafah, Khan Yunis, West Bank, Gaza is indeed indescribable. Yet, it is to be understood that it is not an Israeli advent per se in its full capacity as a manifestation of pure Israeli interests that such a conflict is taking place, and that one has to consider the multiple modalities, the historical realities, the existential threats that have been faced by the people in this particular region before framing such arguments. Though Mearsheimer's argument might be intellectually engaging to any degree possible, it does not inculcate the intricacies of the region, and therefore I choose to pursue this rebuttal. Thank you.